What's good, YouTube? Andre here with the DM Network. Guys, today we're talking about Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Yes, some things we know, as well as kind of a thoughts and review on everything that we've seen so far, having been able to calm down from the high that we had yesterday. But before we get into all of that, y'all, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. If you're not new, you've been watching the videos and you haven't subscribed yet, click that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss an upload. Follow me on these social media platforms. My PlayStation ID, DMGaming5, Twitter at DMGaming5, Twitch at DMGaming06 because 5 was taken, and Instagram at the_DM_network because DMGaming5 was taken as well. So on to the video, the information. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. We have the official title, of course, and some people are already upset about that, but who cares? I like it. It's different. It's something spontaneous. Now, one thing, guys, that I want to point out is that I would like for you, if you're new to the channel, if you haven't done this yet, go and check out the Dragon Ball Project Z playlist on the channel, because almost everything that we talked about, I was going through that this morning, and almost everything that we talked about, we have confirmation on in this game. Almost everything. And we talked about a ton of stuff. We've been talking about this game since it was very first announced back in January, before they ever even released the trailer. I mean, we've been covering it, so go check that stuff out. But guys, I am working on getting gameplay for it, and breaking the gameplay down, getting snapshots of it, all those kinds of things, so the presentation of these videos can be a little bit better. You don't have to stare at still images, but you're gonna have to stare at it today. So, talking about the game, how do I feel about it after a night's rest? I still feel super excited about it. I still feel extremely confident in it. And I kind of want to go over some things that I feel like people may have missed in the gameplay from IGN, as well as the trailer and information that's just kind of floating around out there. So first of all, I think the biggest concern with people was, is it going to end at the Frieza saga? The answer to that question is a clear no. I think anybody in the right mind can say that in 2019, they're not going to make a Dragon Ball game that only ends at the Frieza saga. They were asked this question during the live play with IGN, and they basically said, we can't reveal that at this moment, but people aren't going to be upset. They said that the game will mainly cover Z. They asked that question, that they answered that question. The question was, will the game have Dragon Ball Super and stuff like that in it? And they said the game would have mainly Z, which leaves the door open to possibly have some Dragon Ball in it, or maybe some Dragon Ball Super in the future. My personal idea, or my personal thoughts, is that in some way, shape, form, or fashion, it's probably going to have some kind of prologue that is Dragon Ball based, and then you'll go into Z and stuff like that, just for some background stuff. You know what I'm saying? So of course it's going to go past the Frieza saga. Now we don't know as to how, if the initial game it release is only going to be to the Frieza saga and then DLC is going to be the rest. I doubt it. I really think when we get this game, it's going to go all the way to the end of Z. But then the question is, what is the DLC going to be? The DLC could very well be Dragon Ball Super. Who knows? Or it could be movie characters. What they said about when they was asked about movie characters is that the game basically is about the anime. That's the game. When they're talking about that, they're talking about the initial game that we get at release. That doesn't mean that DLC can include not boss battles, but movie characters. So all that stuff is still kind of in the air. CyberConnect 2 isn't real big on boss movie characters and stuff. However, Dragon Ball is based on that. I mean, that's a big part of it. So maybe it will, maybe it won't. Only time will tell. But we can say that it's gonna go past the Frieza saga. There's no concern there, people. Stop being concerned. If they're showing all of this up to the Frieza saga right now and the game doesn't come out till next year, come on, man. Just be real and think about it. All right. So support characters, because we saw Piccolo there. We saw him fighting with Goku against Raditz. Will you be able to control these characters? That's one thing that they asked, and they basically said the same thing. We can't reveal that. blase, and they said an interesting thing that they want to keep the game like as close to the manga as possible. And in the manga, in the anime, they're both kind of the same. Manga does vary a little bit, but mostly it's from Goku's standpoint. The other characters, you do use them. They are there. They do fight. Gohan fights Cell, etc., etc. Now, one thing that's interesting is if you look on the gameplay, it's not pictured here, but if you look right there above Goku's attacks on this image where it says super attacks, if you go back and look at the gameplay, to the right of super attacks is the RB button, and it says, I think it says support or something like that. And if you push that button, I'm pretty certain it's going to bring up a menu where you're able to give commands to your support character. Because they asked the question, will we be able to physically control them in a sense with the controller, like play with them like we play with Goku? And the way that I heard it, or what I took away from what they said was basically that no, we won't be able to control them like we do Goku, but we will be able to give them commands and things like that to do in the game. So that's something that we'll have to see for later on. But even if that's the case, it does raise questions as to what happens when, like, the androids come and Goku is sick. What happens when Gohan fights Cell and things like that. So at the same time, I do feel like there are going to be certain moments where you do have to play with some other characters. But all in all, the main focal point is Goku and playing with him. Now, if we can, like right now, like Goku's fighting, we can fight with Piccolo. That'll be pretty cool. That'll be pretty cool. Somehow we're going to have to be able to level them up. And if we I don't see them only being able to level up through participating with us in battle, but that could be